Jason, good afternoon. Your turn. How are you today, pal?
I'm doing very well, Chris. How are you?
All right, Jason. Thank you. Now, let me hear what's on your mind. Go ahead.
All right, the last 2 points about the draft here. First, you and I both think the Browns should take Barkley at number 1, but I don't think they're going to. So the Giants, who I'm a fan of, will take him at number 2. There's no doubt in my mind. They've been starved at that position for years. It'll give play action to Eli, which they haven't had in years. Skill positions are set, all the money they spent on soldiers, so I think that's a good play.
Yep.
The second point of this, Chris, is I know you think they would trade down maybe with Buffalo. I don't see them doing that for this reason. I think they'll take Chubb if Barkley's gone, because if they trade with Buffalo at 12, I think Chubb, Barkley, all the quarterbacks, and Nelson will be gone at that point. Maybe McGlinchey.
Well, they'd have to trade. They'd have to trade back up, and they may not feel they can get back up to do that. So I understand if you go all the way to 12, there's a huge drop off, as you said. Nelson, Chubb, the 4 quarterbacks, and then I don't know who else would be labeled. Fitzpatrick, maybe the Alabama defensive back. So they may not be able to get the player they want if they stayed at 12, and that would make them have to trade back up again. They may not want to go through those shenanigans. That's not a bad point. Go ahead.
Robbie, maybe McGlinchey from Notre Dame, too. And I was at that game in South Bend when Notre Dame played Georgia. There was a lot of talent on that field, including Isaiah Wynn. But I don't think they're going to do that, because how could you be Gettleman, Chris, and walk away from this draft picking a 2 without any one of those marquee guys? And the last point, if I could make, Chris,
I agree with that. There are too many. There's 3 or 4 Hall of Famers with that second pick. He can't give that up to draft a good player. He's got to get the Hall of Famer. I agree.
Right. I think you got to go there. And the last point I'll say, Chris, is people who are saying, well, what about the quarterback, 10 years for the future, the other Giants fans? If Barkley walks away in 5 years, who cares if you have to pay him? Just let him walk. They're a win-now team with the skill set. It'll give them play action with Ingram, Beckham, and now him in the backfield and Soldier. They think Eli has 2 years left, and none of these quarterbacks – McAdoo, even now from beyond the coaching grave, is hurting the Giants and myself as a fan because of not putting Webb in the game last year.
You don't have any idea what you got there. Yeah. You don't know.
You have no idea what you got there.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Even now, he's hurting them.
Yeah, that's fair. That was not Webb should have been groomed last year to be raring to go once the last 5-6 games hit to get a little sense, and that was not the case. Reginald in Delaware, Mad Dog Unleashed. Reginald, what's going on today? What do you have for me?
Hey, dog, how you doing, man?
Hello, Reg. What's happening now? Let me hear.
Man, I've been listening to you bark this ever since the Super Bowl been over. These people, these Browns front office, they've been starved for a quarterback. They've made so many mistakes at this position.
Right.
And now I'm hearing that they're focusing on Baker Mayfield. Are you kidding me? No, all they have to do is, I agree with you 1,000%. Take the running back. I'm a Cowboy fan. I don't want the Giants to get Barkley, to be honest. But how could you miss? Even if the Jets take one of the big quarterbacks, you're still sitting there at 4. You can't miss. There's no difference in these quarterbacks. What's the difference, dog? I'm trying to figure it out.
No, I get it. I mean, you're going to get your choice of the third best quarterback if, in fact, you take Barkley. That's it. You got the 4th pick. You're going to get the third best guy out there, and I don't know what the difference is between the 4 of them. I mean, they looked pretty close to me. Here's Huck in Missouri before we get Chris DePresti in. Huck, welcome. Your turn. How are you today?
They're doing good, Chris. Hope you're doing well.
All right, Huck, I'm not bad. Let me hear now. What's on your mind? What do you got for me?
I'm with you on Schefter. I know this is his time to shine, and he's got to do his job and do some reporting. But he looked awful silly with that whole Brady thing a few weeks ago. So he better, some of this stuff he's come out with in the last 12 hours, he better not miss on it.
Now remember, there's a lot of pressure on these. There's a lot of pressure on these guys. This is their whole deal, is to try to get these picks right. So there's a ton of pressure on them. Sometimes that might make you pull the trigger a little too quick. I don't think the Browns even know yet who they're taking. So I'm not sure how Adam Schefter knows. You may continue. Go ahead.
Now, as you know, I'm a big Sooner fan, and I try to be objective when it comes to Baker Mayfield. I love Baker Mayfield. I love him to death. He helped my team get to 2 playoff appearances in the last 3 years, which is 2 more than Sam Darnold and 2 more than Josh Rosen. And I know that you're down on the Big 12 defense. I get it. But to me, I don't know what he's going to be, Chris. I have no idea. He might be a flop or he might be a Hall of Famer. I don't know. But one thing I will guarantee you, whichever team gets him, Baker Mayfield will do everything he can to be great. He wants to be good. And that I will guarantee. I won't guarantee you he'll be great, but he'll want to be great. I think that's a lot of it.
I agree. Good chip on his shoulder. He's one of those guys who thinks everybody doesn't like him. He wants to prove his detractors wrong. So I think that is an element that you like if, in fact, you take him here at the early picks. Here's Chris Lepresti, Sports Bite. We'll come right back with Phil Simms on Mad Dog.